Hey guys, I'm back with another video, and in today's video we're going to be kicking off a new mini series that I'm starting. It's going to be called Photography Real Talk. So it's just going to be me talking with you guys. I'm going to share my thoughts about the photography industry and basically just photography in general. Now, photography is my passion, so for this first episode of Photography Real Talk, I'm going to share a little bit about my history, what photography means to me, and why I become a photographer, as well as my hopes and what I see in the future for photography and myself. Alright, so why did I become a photographer? I think I started photography quite late. I started when I was 24 years old. My first camera, I did not start during the film days. My first camera that I really got serious about photography was with the Nikon D90. It was an awesome camera, hugely popular back then, and I got it back in 2008, and that's when I started getting crazy about photography. I started to, even before I got the camera, I started to do a lot of reading and to do a lot of research into photography. I just poured myself into books and I read books after book. And some of my favorite books is by this photography author called Michael Freeman. You can check out some of his works. It's really, he speaks a lot about photography, composition, and I think that has something that really built upon my foundation as a photographer, and that is to really pay attention to photographic composition. Composition is one of my favorite photography subjects. I can talk about composition forever. So I'm hoping to do some videos on that as well, so stay tuned for that. So like I was saying, I started off in 2008, and the passion just grew and grew from there. In the beginning, I just used to shoot everything. I would take the camera out onto the streets, I would take buses going by on the streets, I would dabble a little bit on macro photography. One of my first lenses that was not a kit lens was actually a 60mm prime macro lens, and that is actually the oldest lens that I have with me until now. I'm still using that lens. It's awesome, especially for weddings. And so I dabbled a bit in macro photography, and eventually I started to get more and more attracted to shooting landscapes. Landscapes has just become something that's really special and really unique to my life as a photographer. And I think my passion for landscape photography probably started a long time before I even started, having a camera of my own. Sunset, sunrise. These are moments where we really stop, moments in time, and we kind of forget about everything that's around us and just focus on being part of the natural world around us. And that's something that has really, I've been really passionate about this for many years. So this thing with landscape photography, I think it first started when probably I was 12 years old. I went with my family to a vacation. We were in Australia, and we were staying at a farm. And I recall that this farm is actually on the top of a hill. And one day I climbed up the hill, and it was going towards sunset. And as I walked towards the top of the hill, I still remember I looked down, and the sun was in the sky, and it was kind of cloudy, so the sun kind of had light rays going through the clouds, and there was this huge patch of trees that some woodcutters have cut into a perfectly square shape, and there was just this huge valley that's just in front of me, and it was just so beautiful. And I remember that scene now, and sometimes it just goes to show that some special moments that stick with you forever. And I've been searching for scenery like that for as long as I can remember since then. And that's the thing about sunrise and sunset. I spent many years in different countries, especially in Australia and in America, just to chase back that feeling, that mountaintop experience where you're literally on a mountain, and then you look down and you see the water underneath, you see the waves crashing, and the sun is setting or the sun is rising, and it's just you, yourself, it's quiet, your troubles are far away, and that feeling is something that that I want to capture in all my photography, in my photos, and it's a passion that has driven me up until this point. So I mentioned that I got my first camera in 2008. Back then I used to be in the Air Force. I used to work on the fighter jets in the Air Force. So the good thing about being in the military is that you have plenty of opportunity to travel, so that's why I managed to get myself into the US and spend a lot of time just photographing sunrise and sunsets over there. And I kind of did it to the point of obsession, as in practically any chance that I have to photograph a sunrise or a sunset, I would do it. And towards the end of my career at the Air Force, especially when I was in the States, people started to come to me and they would ask me to take photographs for their family, and even though I have no passion to take photos of people back then, I just do it for my friends, and it kind of reached a point whereby I was taking photographs of my colleagues almost every weekend towards the end of my time in the US. And if I'm not shooting a family during the weekend, I'll be, out in a park, just recceing, just looking for locations to shoot sunrise or sunset, or looking for locations to do photo shoots. And by the time I got out of the Air Force in 2014 or towards 2015, I was already getting job offers from strangers, from companies. I don't even know where they found me, but then they started offering me jobs as a photographer, or they started to get me to shoot for them, and I wouldn't even know where these people come from. They just found my photos on the internet, and they started offering me jobs. And I was even approached by a stock agency in Singapore. They offered to produce and market my photos for me. They would provide for me the models, the location and everything. They just wanted me to shoot for them. And towards 2015 I decided to leave my job, as in the Air Force, and just come out and go full-time to be a photographer. And I've been very blessed ever since, because the road from being an employed person to a self-employed person, making it successful as a photographer on your own is not easy. But for me, it's just been such a blessed time. Like I said, I got job offers, and I even got sponsored shoots. I had people come up to me from, I don't know how they find out about my photography, but they would come up to me and they would say, Zach, can you do a sponsored shoot for us? We'll loan you the models, we'll loan you the makeup artists, we'll loan you the wedding car, the outfits, everything. Just shoot for us, and we want the photos from you. And that was such a huge opportunity for someone who was just starting out as a photographer, and I was just so blessed to be able to receive all of that. But even though I've been doing all these wedding shoots and commercial shoots, landscape photography has always been my passion. Alright, so in 2016 I have the opportunity to be the principal photographer of a company, of a photography company called Penpixels. At our peak, we were shooting at 140 events and up to 20 weddings per year. So that means that not even counting my landscape photography, I was shooting practically every other day of the year. That was really awesome. Huge opportunity for me to be in, and unfortunately it all came to the end this year because of coronavirus. But well, that's life, and we all move ahead and we all move on and make do with what we have at the moment. So right now I'm able to fully focus into landscape photography, which is where my real passion lies in. And making all these YouTube videos is something that I've desired to do for a long time, but I never really had the time or the energy to. And it's just that my style of landscape photography is that I'll bring my tripod, my camera, a whole lot of gear with me. I'll settle down in one spot. I would literally wait there for hours, and the good thing about all this is that while I'm waiting for the sun to get into position, while I'm just looking around and getting the best spot, I have actually a lot of time to shoot behind the scenes footage, to generate content for YouTube. And that's why I'm doing all this. You know, it all fits with my passion and what I want to do with photography and my life. Now, my style of landscape photography is actually pretty straightforward. You know, even though I'm in Singapore, I kind of still shoot as if I'm in a natural landscape. You know, if there's buildings in the shot, I kind of treat them like mountains. You know, it's in the sense that I don't really shoot architecture photography. I shoot, you know, the scenery as if it's a landscape. So the buildings, they're like mountains to me. Now, I know Singapore doesn't have much landscape photography, so it's always been a challenge for me. But there are elements that we can use. There's a lot of water around. You can do reflections. There's beautiful trees if you know where to look for them, and part of the joy and the excitement is also in the challenge of finding the right places to shoot. So I guess the main thing I want to share with you guys in today's video is 2020 has been a really challenging year. COVID-19 has really forced many businesses to change, and some businesses to go bankrupt and just, you know, not operate anymore. But I think that how we look at things, it's very important in life. Our perspective of how we handle difficult and challenging situations. Due to this whole coronavirus thing, I've perhaps lost approximately 80% of my monthly income. But at the same time, I'm also very excited about it because this is an opportunity for me to pursue my landscape photography. And that's something that I never had time to do so in the past. I've seen a lot of people who complain about the situation online, and my thoughts is that, you know, there's no point complaining. You know, what is there for us to do is to decide what we can do with the time that we have right now. This is an opportunity for us to try different things. I just took up a drone course, something that I really wanted to learn how to fly a drone, but I've never had the time to do so in the past. So there are opportunities right now during this period of time, and since, I mean, if your work has been affected and you find that you have more time on your hands, I think it's best to be fruitful and to think about other avenues. Think about, you know, revenue streams and how you can make money with the spare time that you have. And something else I think is really important is that every one of us should find a group of photographer friends who are very passionate about photography. Just surround yourself with these friends. You can travel with them. So there's someone to talk to when you're shooting sunrise or sunsets. You know, there's people who can build you up, who can encourage you, and if need be, to give you constructive criticism. You know, share ideas and share knowledge. It's something that's really crucial to us as photographers. Alright, so looking forward to the future. I'm looking forward to generating more content for you guys, more videos. Since we cannot travel at this point of time, a lot of it is going to be based on Singapore. But once the world starts to open up and we can travel once again, I'm looking forward to creating some videos of you guys of some real landscapes overseas. I think it's really awesome. I'm going to be looking forward to that. So as usual guys, thank you so much for watching. Give me a thumbs up because it really helps out the channel, and post a comment down below so I know your thoughts. Remember to subscribe. Shalom and goodbye.